I had you guys ask me your juiciest financial questions where I said that nothing was off limits. I'm going to be answering questions like how much money do we actually make from Airbnb? How do my husband and I split finances? How do we afford so many mortgages? Things like that. So let's just get right into it. Number one, how do Alex, my husband, and I split our finances? We've been together for nearly 10 years, and for most of our relationship, we kept everything very separate and like didn't even totally have an understanding of like how much money the other one had. We really would just like Venmo the other person 50% of like going out to eat, rent, bills, whatever it was, you know, and it was very much like my money, his money. But once we bought this house that I'm sitting in now, we bought it as our own personal house together after we got married, before we turned it into an Airbnb, like we actually lived here. When we bought this house, that's when we kind of decided like it doesn't really make sense anymore for us to keep our finances separate, because like we bought the house together and we used our money together to have the down payment for it. And it was our money together that gave us the budget to buy the house, right? Just thinking about like our future of having kids. At that point, we thought we were having kids way sooner. We didn't know about our infertility journey at the time. But I was like, I'm not gonna Venmo you every time I need diapers or the baby needs diapers. From that point, we had joint finances. We both have separate retirement accounts, and all of our Airbnbs, we have 3 of them, have their own money in their own accounts. But we have a joint savings, Alex and I, and a joint checkings, and that works for us. We don't have separate accounts from each other. I would be open to that if that was important to him or vice versa, but we both kind of just felt like it was unnecessary and kind of defeated the point. But we are also very much on the same page when it comes to money. And I know that not every couple is, but we have very similar spending habits, very similar ideas of like our financial goals, how we want to spend our money. So it's actually never really been an issue for us. Okay, within that, you might be wondering, how do we handle like buying each other gifts, or if there's things that like we want to buy that we don't want the other person to see, I guess. Which the only thing I can really think of would be like gifts. This is again where it would be different depending on your relationship. We're both not huge like gift people. Sometimes we do want gifts though, and we just tell the other person like, this is what I want. Can you get this for me from our money for my birthday, or can I get it now and treat it as a birthday gift? Which again might not work for everybody, but I would rather do that and know that our money is going towards like what I actually want or what Alex actually wants, instead of us buying stuff just for the sake of buying it and it's not really what the other person wants. Kind of along a similar vein, people wanted to know like, how do Alex and I actually make money? Alex works in sales. He's only been doing that the past couple of years. He actually, for most of his career, was a college basketball coach at small colleges. So like Vermont Tech, in Iowa, in South Dakota. That's what he did most of the time. Now he works remotely in sales. I make money from social media. So posting on YouTube, TikTok, brand deals. I don't do like a ton of them. I wouldn't say like I'm a super content creator in the sense that like, I don't know how to describe it. This is my full-time job, but I think there's a huge spectrum of what people can make with social media depending on their niche. I think that the niche of Airbnb and money and stuff like isn't as financially beneficial. Like, I don't think you make as much money content-wise as a content creator who's talking about beauty or fashion. Like, there's just a lot more money in that because it applies to so many more people. Also, I do the Airbnb stuff, but if you guys have been watching me for a while, you'll know that like, I don't pay myself from it, which I'll get more into later, but so like, I don't know if that really counts. But before I started doing social media and Airbnb stuff full time, I've had like a ton of really random jobs. I've never been a super career-oriented person. But before this, I was a residential counselor at a youth shelter, like a homeless shelter for kids. I was doing that for a couple of years and doing it at the same time as Airbnb for a while too. Before that, I was like an office manager. I hated that job. I had my own bakery, actually. I never ever bake anymore though. I was also a personal trainer, very random. I've just had a lot of different career paths, honestly. This one was kind of random. I didn't know where to fit it in the video, but people were asking like, how do we decide the nightly rate for the Airbnbs? We personally use a software called Price Labs. I don't remember how much it is off the top of my head because Alex is the one who kind of like handles that, but we've been doing that ever since we started Airbnb, and it's been very worth it for us. It is a monthly fee, but it does really optimize your pricing, so you don't ever have to think about it. Sometimes we do go in and adjust it like a little bit here and there if we've noticed like we're getting too many bookings or not enough bookings, but I would say it's like 95% accurate, and a lot more accurate than Airbnb's smart pricing. I feel like they're really undercharging because they want people to use the platform and like get the best deal. So you're not making as much money if you're using their pricing, in my opinion. Next is, what am I doing for retirement since I'm self-employed? This is something I want to be really transparent about because again, I think this is really taboo. I was not good about putting enough money in my retirement, especially when I was in my younger 20s, because I have almost always been self-employed. Like when I owned the bakery for a couple of years, I didn't have the money to put anything towards retirement. And it always felt like, oh, that's a tomorrow problem. Same thing when I did the personal training. When I did have the office manager job or the residential counseling job, I did put money towards my 401k, did an employer match, that kind of thing, but not anything crazy. So I do feel behind in that way in life right now. So one of my goals for like starting last year, this year, and moving forward is to really attack my retirement. I'm 31, I turned 32 in September, so I'm not like super behind, but I do feel like I need to catch up from kind of ignoring it more in my young 20s. Do we make a profit from the Airbnbs, or does it essentially just pay for the mortgage? Keeping them on Airbnb essentially does just pay for the cost of running each place and the maintenance that goes into it. So for example, the Airbnb that I'm at right now, we just had all of the floors replaced downstairs because they were literally like coming up. The previous owners, we've owned this house for like 4 years now, installed it themselves, LVP, and they didn't do a very good job. So we had to replace it. It was like $6,000 between the material and the labor. That's a huge chunk of money when you're not making like a huge amount of money from Airbnb. So Airbnb covered our mortgage and everything from last year, all of our bills, utilities, regular maintenance, and it allows us to save up to do projects like that. So it's not like I made $6,000 in a month. That took us a long time to save that up to be able to do here. We essentially make enough to like pay for everything, save a little bit extra. Sometimes in the slow season, we don't save any extra at all. Someone asked, how much money do we keep in savings? So each Airbnb has its own bank account. We keep our finances very separate. Like our personal finances are very separate from the Airbnbs, and the Airbnb's money is separate from each other. And our goal is to have $10,000 in each Airbnb account. But we almost are always never at that goal because something comes up or we use that money to then do a project like doing the floors here. The reason we have that number, which maybe that's high, maybe that's low, it's all subjective, is our goal is to never put our own money into any of the Airbnbs, and we want them to be able to pay for themselves if anything comes up, which things always come up. But yeah, we don't want to pay for any of those things from our own money if we can help it. So we always try to keep $10,000 in each account. That doesn't always happen. So I let you guys know that we have separate bank accounts for each Airbnb and that we aim to save $10,000 in each of those Airbnb accounts for like emergencies and stuff. So they all have their own accounts and all of their own debit cards, which just makes it a lot easier to keep track of all the expenses and profits from each place without it jumbling all together. Relay is an online business banking and money management platform that is designed for small businesses like mine. With Relay, you can open multiple accounts and basically organize your money by property, taxes, expenses, whatever makes sense for your setup. So instead of everything being mixed together, you can see the cash flow of each of your properties separately and know exactly what's going on. With Relay, you can also have multiple debit cards for different expenses, which can make it a lot easier to stay organized by property. And one thing that I think is really helpful is there is no monthly fees or minimum balances, which I love because the cost to run even a small business like mine can add up really quickly. If you're interested in checking out Relay, I will have the link in the description below. And thank you so much to Relay for partnering with me on this video. How do we afford all of our mortgages? So we have the 3 investment properties and our primary house. It's very simple. I feel like people think that like, we either must have a lot of money or like scheme somehow to like do all of this. Really what it comes down to is like, because 3 of them are investment properties, if it's an investment property, you can count the projected rental income towards the mortgage. You don't have to necessarily prove to the mortgage company that you can pay for 4 mortgages from your personal finances. Just for example, this place, say we were going to buy it as an investment property, if the mortgage company deems that it can make $2,000 a month in rental income, then they're comfortable loaning you a mortgage for that equivalent because they know that it will get covered when someone rents it. There's still a risk there because you have to find someone that will actually rent it, but like that's kind of how it breaks down. We didn't do anything crazy to be able to afford each place. I got a lot of questions about selling the long-term rental property because if you didn't know, we are planning on selling it. We're just in the final steps now of like signing the paperwork to get it listed and like getting it photographed and all of that. People want to know like, are we going to make money from selling it? How much? What are we going to do with that money? And essentially we are going to lose money if we even get what we're hoping to get for it. But if we get what we're hoping to get for it, we would probably maybe walk away with like $75,000, but that is less than we spent to get the down payment, and renovate the place. So we would lose money on it, but we technically have already paid all of that money back. So like we would walk away with the cash, but it's less than we spent. And part of the reason is because of what we plan to do with that money, which the main thing is we want to redo the floors at our personal house. 80% of the house is bright green carpet, and we really just want to replace the flooring. And that would be a good opportunity to be able to do that, is to use some of the profits to do that. Not profit, but cash from the sale. You know what I mean? What is the mortgage rate on each of our houses? This one, the one that I always call my sugar mama Airbnb, the mortgage rate is 3.25, which is insane. When we bought this place, I remember I was like so scared because we bought it for $300,000, and I just thought that was like an insane amount of money. Like I couldn't sleep at night. I was so stressed about having a $300,000 mortgage. Now I wish we had bought in 3 houses during that time. I don't remember the exact interest rates of the other ones off the top of my head, but I'll definitely give you a ballpark. The townhouse, so the second place that we bought, it's in the 6s. I want to say it's like 6.5-ish, somewhere around there. And we bought that one for $265. And then the long-term rental, our mortgage rate is close to 8% there. Again, I don't remember it off the top of my head. It's 7 point something, which is really high, and part of the reason that we're choosing to sell that place. For our personal house, our interest rate is 6.75, which is also pretty high. So there you have it. I answered a lot of your burning, juicy questions, and this was really fun. I like doing the Q&A style videos. If you like them too, let me know. I can definitely do more. I just think finances are important to talk about. Thank y'all so much for watching, and thank you again to Relay for sponsoring this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.